What's up, you lonely lovers?
Wait.
Today is the day after Valentine's Day. And what's the thing we all remember the most as kids? Dang it, I didn't get a Valentine's this year.
Oh, do we all remember that?
I do.
Or is, okay, or is that specific to you?
It's a very depressing holiday with very dark roots. And it capitalizes on people's obsession with sweets and treats and decadence. And somehow it's about love. So we're going to talk about the real esoteric origins of Valentine's Day.
Well, for those of you who had a lovely Valentine's Day with a person who's special in your life, congratulations. That's beautiful. We're going to destroy all of that today and desecrate it and show you how truly horrifying the thing that you're celebrating is. Shame on you. But glad you enjoyed yourself.
It's funny because the origin of Valentine's Day is actually not about like love and romance. It's actually more so about like astrological purging of negativity in preparation for the upcoming spring equinox. It's more of an astrological pagan thing. And then by the time we get to the Roman kingdom or the Roman Empire, it's all about basically like blood sacrifice to strengthen royal bloodlines.
Whoa.
And now it is what it is.
Okay, hang on. So you said the original meaning was to prepare for the spring equinox?
Yeah, so it's about the cycle of pain in love. It's about the tragedy of love lost and then purging that negativity for growth in the spring. The equinox. Wow. Remember these ancient holidays? What's up, Alex?
Are you going to talk about the Catholic saint?
No. But feel free to pull that up. But yes.
You're our Catholicism expert, Alex, so...
By default.
You tell us.
Can't go throwing that title around.
You're Catholic's advocate over there.
So the Greeks and the Romans celebrated this time around February 13th to February 15th, which is today, when this airs, as fertility, purification, and virility. And then we're going to go into the Greek myth because I think it's very interesting and I'd never heard of it till recently. Astrologically, it's a period of letting go and purging before the spring equinox. Mm-hmm. So let's just get into the Greek myth.
Is that like, is the Greek kind of culture the first place that we see Valentine's crop up, or
that I came across? I mean, there's probably some Babylonian
Blabbabonian. There's probably some
Blabbabonian Bababooey.
Yo, every time we say Babylonian from now on, we got to go Blabbabonian.
Babylonian origins, probably. I don't know, but I focused on the Greek and the Roman.
Okay, cool.
So the Greek myth is about a love triangle between Eros, or as the Romans would call him, Cupid, Psyche, and Aphrodite, or as the Romans would call her, Venus. So Aphrodite became pretty much jealous of Psyche, who's this like mortal princess who is even more beautiful than Aphrodite. And eventually she goes on to become a god and achieves immortality through this whole love triangle.
Right.
So Aphrodite's jealous of her. She marries Eros, which is Aphrodite's son. But Aphrodite is also in love with Eros. And
hold up, what?
You heard me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Did I stutter?
Did I stutter? Like Stanley from The Office?
Stanley. There's a technicality where supposedly in the myth, she's not like his actual blood-related son. It's like a title that's deemed to her through some, I don't know, this is all not literal anyway.
Sure.
So she's technically Aphrodite's son, but she's in love with him. Aphrodite demands that Psyche divorces Eros so that she can have him all to herself. And since at this point Psyche's immortal, Aphrodite puts her through this trial to where she has to undergo these 4 tough challenges. And I'm not going to go into excruciating detail here, but Psyche comes after Aphrodite, like tries to attack her, tries to like overcome her or whatever. And then Aphrodite, being the god, she's like, nope, you're going to have to go through my 4 trials. And if you live, then you can stay married to him. And then these trials were crafted to fail. And the 4th trial essentially is Psyche has to go into the underworld and retrieve this magical beauty cream from Persephone and bring it to Aphrodite. But somehow along the way, after escaping the underworld, Psyche gets this vanity, and she's like, you know what? I'm more beautiful than her anyway. Why don't I just use the cream?
Yo, is there a Sephora in the underworld? Is that what you're telling me? They could just go down there and like test out perfumes and like get beauty creams and shit.
And Persephone's bad too. So,
oh yeah,
you know, I mean, they all
wait. Bad in what way?
Like
she a baddie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Did you guys watch SpongeBob?
Yes.
Do you remember? I'm trying to remember all the details.
But
they're on the Flying Dutchman, and the only way to get out was through the perfume aisle.
Oh, dude! And it was like a real shot of like a mall perfume, and they were like running through like it was a war, like it was a battlefield, and there's perfume.
It was the underworld, dude. Where you go and get,
dude. Oh my god! We just made a huge discovery. There's a Sephora in the underworld.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
That's funny when you think about it. I don't really remember that scene
from SpongeBob. Oh,
not that one.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like, yeah, in order to escape the Flying Dutchman, they literally it was like a real shot of a mall.
Yeah,
and then them drawn on top of it. And they were like slow motion, like dodging like perfume. Like
it's coming back.
Smoke grenade.
Is that the original Flying Dutchman episode?
I think it is.
And they're like,
SpongeBob lit. Let's do esoteric SpongeBob episode.
It's on our list. I put it on our list.
Oh, really?
It's been on our list for
months. Might have to dig deep for that one.
Have you seen the episode where they wear like Mason hats and go to a lodge?
Yes.
They have a sleepover.
Yo, I forgot about that. And there's also there's that 2001 reference in the caveman episode.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Maybe we'll do a watch party.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Dude, I met Bob Kinney at a con Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
Tom Kenny. I was thinking SpongeBob. I met Tom Kenny, and he's honestly just the nicest guy. And in real life, he's married to Karen.
The
computer.
What?
That's his wife.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's adorable. Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure she was there with him, but
that's so cool.
So she goes to the underworld, she gets the cream, and she's like, you know what? I'm more beautiful than her anyway. I'm going to use it. And when she does, it puts her into this, like, it puts her under a spell where she's asleep for like aeons and aeons, like millions of years.
Just to reiterate, this is Psyche?
Psyche.
Okay, cool.
And after aeons, Zeus really starts to miss her. He's like, man, she's really beautiful. She's got a great sense of humor. So
she thick.
She thick. And he goes into the underworld where her like body was trapped under this spell, and he removes her spirit form and then he feeds the spirit form of Psyche the ambrosia, the nectar of the gods, and then she becomes immortal and becomes the god of the soul. And it's like a metaphor for the attachment of the spiritual soul to the physical mortal vessel. Because, you know, the gods have like metaphors behind them.
Oh, absolutely. How cool is that?
And then Aphrodite is so enraged that she like comes back and marries Eros and has this happily ever after, that she flees and lives in isolation as a hermit for the rest of her life out of just pure bloodlust, anger, and jealousy. So not really a happy story.
Yeah, so even like some of the most early origins of Valentine's Day, not very happy.
So then up in about 494, Pope Gelasius I replaced this, what was known as Lupercus, which was this very special hallowed festival practiced by the Roman elite class. And so up until this point, in 494 AD, they were practicing this, what we're about to go into. So
Lupercus.
Yeah, Lupercalia.
Oh.
Lupercus is the god that they worshipped.
Gotcha.
So there's this cult called the Brothers of the Wolf. They are these priests who dressed in fresh, bloody goat skin. So they would sacrifice goats, they would skin them, and they would put on the bloody skin, and they would wear it.
Okay, we're getting dark.
And their god was Lupercus, also known as Faunus. It's like this wolf figure.
Gotcha.
And they would basically conduct a blood sacrifice ritual. They would kill 2 young male goats and a dog. And then 2 young teens would be brought to the altar.
Human?
Yes. They would be brought to the altar, and these priests would induce a hysterical, frenzied laugh state, like a manic laugh state, where these teens would just have to maniacally laugh while the priests are dancing and chanting. And they did this because they believed that the maniacal laughing would purge negativity out of their being, and then they would be fed milk And there was something else. I want to make sure I get this right. Sacrificial blood. So they were anointed.
Whoa. I thought you were going to say like honey or like milk and what was it? Oh, the blood of sacrifice. Right.
They would be anointed with the sacrificial blood and the milk.
Oh.
And they believed that this would purge them and it would make their bloodline virile so that they could raise future royal lines. And then these priests, after adorning the teens in these wolf skins, then they would get, or goat skins, then they would get more animals. They would disfigure them.
What?
They would cut their tendons out, fashion them into bloody whips, and they would run around whipping people with them. And then
what is happening? Why,
I told you, bro. It's a dark holiday.
Why?
It just is.
Why is this happening? Why are they creating blood whips?
Because
it's horrifying.
And then they would get young teenage girls.
It keeps going?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they would get young teenage girls, and then they would just whip the shit out of them because they believed it made them fertile. Because remember, spring's coming around. It's the time for growth and fertility.
Right. Of course, spring is coming around, so we have to whip our young
girls
women with blood whips. Obvious, made from tendons. It all makes sense.
Well, when you say it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the Catholics doing this?
Nick, you better watch it.
Oh, okay.
It's
I was going to say, what do you have to say, Alex?
They did worse, man.
Oh, shit.
You know what they did.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right.
But,
You're going to have to answer for all this, Alex.
So they would, just to wrap up that there, girls and young women would receive lashes from these bloody whips in the hopes of increasing fertility. Oh, and then the finale, bro. Fires would be lit all throughout the imperial city, and then they would just have orgies the entire night all over the city, and the priest would run around whipping them with those blood whips.
What the fuck? What? Why? Like, I don't. You just keep going. I'm gonna have to be over here just like in an existential crisis, trying to.
Well, bro,
figure
don't
out,
you remember the
what's
Satanic
happening?
Panic, like back in the '80s when they're all like, the devil's in everything and everything? There's like a shred of truth to that. There's a shred of truth. Like a lot of these ancient holidays that we now practice, they really do have dark roots.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I know. I'm just like, I'm trying to put my head into somebody from that time. Like, how do you get to that conclusion? Oh, obviously we have to beat the shit out of these women with bloody tendons so they'll be more
sacrificed
fertile.
animals.
Like, what?
Well, what if they tried it once and it worked? And then
they're like, oh, that's it. It's 100%.
And now it's funny because Valentine's Day is all about buying cards and flowers and eating candy and beating it up.
Beating it up! Wait a minute. Hard reset. Hard reset. Beating it up, dude?
so nothing's really changed.
Yeah. Yo, we need a minute. Yo. We got to gather ourselves. We need a minute. We got to get this train on the rails. We have to get it. Okay, you know what? You just go to your next thing and we're going to figure it out, buddy. Oh my God, beating it up with a bloody whip?
With
No. Do not elaborate. Do not. Don't you dare. Just move on. We're just moving straight through. So anyway, dude, Valentine's Day. Remember that?
And I've been complaining about buying flowers.
Honestly, bro, Valentine's Day is so whack. When you think about it, it's so whack. It's like, dude, it's like...
it's whack. We don't even get to beat the shit out of women anymore, bro.
Hey, or young teens. You know what sucks, man? It's like... Hey, at least with Halloween, which most people think is like this darkest holiday, which it does have roots. At least with Halloween, they're like trying to talk to their dead loved ones that they miss.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
and Christmas, they're like, the sun is coming back.
And the Church of Today banned Halloween for young people. And they're like, Valentine's good to go.
Yeah, Valentine's is sick, bro. Man, we really got to get back to the roots of Valentine's Day, you guys. I mean, we got to find the reason for the season. Like seriously, come on. What are we doing here? I struggle to find the silver lining of this so far, but you know what? Let's continue. Let's try our hardest to continue.
Honestly, man, like... I'm out of notes. So
That's it. Roll the end music. Let's go. We're out. We're out of here.
dude, I just never forget, man, like being a little kid in elementary school. And I don't know if you remember, but back then when Valentine's Day happened, kids would be passing out Valentine's Day cards.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh yeah.
And I got one that it had Steve Irwin on it. This was before the tragedy.
Right.
And it had Steve Irwin on it, and it had like a crocodile, and he was like taming a crocodile, and it said, "Crikey, you're my Valentine." Or like Crocky or something.
Crocky.
It was like a pun on him being with a crocodile. And I remember there was like this generic little sucker in it. And I always appreciated a Valentine's Day card until about high school when I never had a Valentine.
Oh, well, now you have an eternal Valentine.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're set for the rest of forever. Okay, so we've learned so far. Let's try to do a little recap. We've learned so far that as far as we know, it started with the Greeks, and they were already doing fucked up shit with Eros, Psyche, Aphrodite, doing all their weird, hateful, spiteful love triangle shit. That should have been a reality TV show.
Yeah,
that could be a reality TV show.
Keeping up with Cupid.
Keeping up with Cupid. And then it was the 400s. That was the next part.
Mm-hmm. Right at 500 AD.
I think maybe I laughed and screamed so hard that my brain purged everything that you said from that point forward. So reiterate again. Let's go, but why don't we run it back and let's go over that one more time more concisely so that we're not just screaming and laughing over it this time.
Okay, so keep in mind, the Romans were practicing this holiday up until 494 when the Pope or Emperor Galatius, he's either Pope or Emperor, he says, yeah, we don't really need to celebrate this one anymore. We're going to start celebrating St. Valentine's Day.
St. Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
because there's a St. Valentine, which I don't know anything about. So if you want to look him up and enlighten us, I don't know why I didn't think to look up St. Valentine.
Alex, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think St. Valentine is like a really important figure in like esoteric myth. Maybe it has something to do with the Freemasons.
I'm not sure.
We've talked on this show before about either Saint Valentine or Valentinus. Yeah. Which maybe Greek. I don't know. But who is the Saint Valentine?
I don't know. I didn't look up anything about Saint Valentine. So if you want to,
okay.
So I've been reading a little bit, trying to catch up, but
cool.
all of my knowledge is because of a video we would watch in fourth grade on Valentine's Day. So bear with me here, but pretty sure St. Valentine, just some Roman Catholic Christian dude who then got put to death by the lion.
They put him in
That
a
was
pit?
in the video. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he died on February 14th, and they turned it into Valentine's Day. He's also the patron saint of epilepsy and beekeepers.
So, okay,
Wow.
here's something I find super interesting, and we can dive into this. This holiday, like I'd say probably most holidays, has very different roots than how we choose to celebrate today. But for whatever reason, the symbology, it's still celebrated today with a lot of the same symbology as it's always been celebrated with. So my question is like, sure, today we have commercialized this holiday like we do with all of them in America, and we continue to celebrate this holiday. Could it be that there is some sort of agenda coming from somewhere up high to compel us to continue to celebrate these holidays for whatever reason?
I believe so. I believe that all of these astrological holidays are very easy because there's a real energy there. There's a real spiritual energy at the solstices and the equinoxes, and then there's certain other periods like in May and February. You know, they have this festival in May over in like Nordic countries.
Right.
And I believe, I mean, think about it, dude. Valentine's, Easter, Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving. How much profit is there to be made off of, like, look at these poor schmucks. They have no clue what they're getting into.
Sure. I absolutely see, like, the capitalistic incentive for us to continue to celebrate these holidays, but I'm thinking more on like a worldwide spiritual level.
Like a spiritual egregore type level.
Yes.
You don't know that you're participating, but you're still participating.
Exactly.
That's the other thing that I'm wondering as well. Like, what would be the advantage of that?
That's what I'm trying to see.
Or the reason.
So if you follow the thread, and this was it in, you said it was, yeah, it's a fertility thing. Mm-hmm. Even in the 400s and everything, it was about fertility through these really fucked up sacrifices. And as we know, I mean, sacrificial stuff has been around in all, like most religions, most esoteric and exoteric religions.
Even Judaism before Christianity came along, they were sacrificing animals.
Okay, hang on. Let's take a little side road here. What's the deal with sacrifices? No, I'm serious. Like, why was that ever a thing?
Because from what I understand, it's the spilling of blood is believed to be a spiritual currency. And it's believed that when you take the life force of a being, which, yes, there are probably dark groups who do this to humans, unfortunately.
To this day, you think?
To this day, yeah, I do think that happens. Yeah. I mean, you know it happens. You hear reports of it and stuff, you know? But anyway, I from what I understand, they're doing this because they believe it's an offering to the divine. And the spilling of the blood and the removal of the life force is like, it's like a, what's the word? Not a propulsion, but it's like a
accelerant.
Yeah, think about it like a combustion
catalyst.
Like if we're talking about ancient people who believed in true spiritual forces, you know, the taking of life and the spilling of blood is like a combustion, like boom, whatever they're trying to make happen or whatever. That's like what propels their desire forward. It's like currency for spiritual things to them.
That makes sense because it's like a powerful conflux of energy, I guess. Like, you know, you hear all the time, as sad as it is, you hear all the time, like when people are in a room with someone else that passes away, they can like feel the energy change in the room. And like you can, when you're there, people say that it's like this really high vibration, like you can feel it in the air. So I guess there probably is something to that. And it's like, it seems like the majority of the holidays that we celebrate are in some way affiliated with sacrifice. And yeah. I wonder if, this is kind of crazy, but I wonder if we continue to celebrate these holidays today and these holidays are still charged with all that sacrificial energy, like a momentum or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and it's like whether we're aware of it or not, us participating in this symbolism is affecting us on a subconscious level,
and also probably perpetuating all of that energy that has been building over, you know, thousands of years.
Yeah, like an egregore.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like we're getting somewhere because it's just like, why do we still celebrate all this stuff if it has the darkest, weirdest, but I think that makes sense. Like it's like an egregore.
But like the good news is if you're awake to this, if you're like an alchemist or you know, you're somebody who's aware of this and how symbols affect the subconscious mind, you know, there's not really a problem if you want to buy, you know, your loved one flowers and chocolate, maybe some gift card, and beat it up. There's no problem with innocently enjoying.
What we're trying to say is there's no problem with innocently beating it up. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know, like
innocently and with consent, feel free to beat it on up, and you don't have to think about sacrifice while you're doing it.
You can just celebrate the fertility. You don't need the sacrifice. You don't need the sacrifice, I'm telling you.
Okay, so for those of you who might be confused, Ryan is officially giving you the green light to celebrate beating it up without sacrifice. You can stop sacrificing before you commence in the beating it up.
And
you're giving everyone permission.
We are now doing away permanently with sacrifice.
Wait, on the show?
No, on mankind.
Okay. So we're going to take a real...
And on the show. we at Bledsoe Said So, LLC, condemn anybody who performs sacrifices.
Yeah, we're taking... This is a controversial stance.
Stop it, motherfucker.
Not everybody's going to agree with this. But we just think it's not cool. We just think that there are nicer things that you can do, and that might hit some of y'all kind of weird, but like, we believe what we believe. Sacrifice is wrong.
Honestly, dude, like I'm at a loss of words about like I'm out of notes. Let's go on to funny Valentine stories. So
Okay.
there was let me see how I can say this.
Hold on. You about to drop a funny Valentine story on us? You got some tea?
It's more so depressing.
Oh,
So,
no.
there was one year that I really messed up. And I was working on Valentine's Day, and I learned the hard way, fellas. If you're out there listening and you're trying to do the whole fertility thing and celebrate Valentine's Day and
Sacrifice.
you have a special someone, don't you dare even consider not buying flowers.
Oh.
Because even if you're working, I don't care if you're in a coma. You buy flowers. Because there was one year that I was working on Valentine's Day and I didn't buy flowers, and
You probably still hear about it.
I did for a few years, and that is one of my biggest regrets in my entire life. Is not buying flowers on that day. I felt really awful because they expect them.
Oh,
If we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And hey, I have a little piece of advice to tack on to that. Look, if you don't have the money to go and get flowers, or if you are feeling like it's like kind of impersonal or whatever, which like, look, most people, I don't care who you are, like, I've received flowers. It makes me really happy.
I hate buying flowers
Why?
because they die. Like,
but
what's
they're-
the point? Go pick them outside. Why am I going to pay somebody for some
Well,
flowers?
that's actually what I was gonna say. Is if you don't have the money or whatever, just go outside and just pick pretty flowers.
But do you know the heart of that Valentine symbol? What that really means, dude? He ain't got no riz.
You got no
You're not even willing to spend $12 on a dozen roses, man. Come on.
I do it.
Oh, okay.
I do it.
He does it spitefully.
I got the Riz, all right?
Oh wow! Really? Because I'm questioning that now. I'm not 100%.
Honestly,
certain.
yeah. I mean,
I've got a good story for y'all.
Oh,
all right, let's hear it.
Let's go.
All right, let me put this camera on me. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys the story of like how me and Olivia started dating, and a real abridged version, right? So I'm a terrible person. I found out this is 8th grade. Keep in mind, it's been a long time. Found out she liked me from her friend. I was like, "Hey, you want to go out?" She's like, "Yeah." Cool. I've been waiting.
Were
Okay,
you
that's
guys?
Riz.
Were you guys? What'd you say?
I said, that's Riz. You want to go out?
Yeah. Were you both in 8th grade at the time?
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
It was the first grade I met her. We just sat next to each other because our last names.
Nice.
So I was like, "You want to go out?" She's like, "Yeah." The next day, I'm like, "This ain't right." I'm like, over text, we're breaking up.
Whoa.
Yeah. 24
Whoa.
hours. 24 hours.
All
So
right,
then
then-
I'm like, then I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, I might have messed up there. I'm like, all right, she hates me now, obviously.
Oh, shit.
So I'm like talking to her, months go by. I'm like, you want to go out? 3 months, 4 months later, she's like, are you not going to be that way again? I'm like, no. She's like, all right, cool.
That way again.
Yeah. 2 or 3 days later, I text her. I'm like, yeah, this ain't right.
What? What are you doing? You don't have Riz, bro. You got nothing.
No, I'm just like, something was just screaming at me like, this is not right. So I'm like, all right, I don't want, this is over text both times. I'm terrible.
What are you doing?
Meanwhile, I
right.
didn't have a phone until I was 16.
Same.
All right. So then again, I'm like, I messed up, man. So I started talking to her. She's like, I hate you. Months go by. She's like, I hate you. I'm like, rightfully so. Close to a year goes by, and I'm like asking her. She's like, no, I hate you. And then we start hanging out like probably a year after. And it was Valentine's Day, and I had asked her a couple times. She had said no every time. And so I went to Krispy Kreme, shout out Krispy Kreme,
Yes.
and they do these heart-shaped donuts for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I cut up roses, and I put the roses in the box of donuts. And I showed up to her house, and I opened the box. I'm like, will you go out with me? And she's like, no.
Oh shit! Are you
Damn,
serious?
That explains a lot.
And from that day forward, Alex hit the button and turned off his emotions.
So I asked her from Valentine's Day to March 8th. And on March 8th, she said yes.
You asked her every day?
Yeah, pretty much.
I did forget to mention, totally throwing it back, but during these festivals like Lupercalia and Valentine's Day, they would eat the ancient equivalent of chocolate, and they would eat like like berries and raspberries and things like that.
Why?
It should get your Riz up.
Fertility.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it was all.
It's all, it's like celebration. So that's why we have the treats as well. I didn't even mention that part, but
Dude, I don't have a ton of memories from Valentine's days in general. Just because I've been with Casey like
your entire life.
yeah, what seems like my entire life. Yeah, but one thing that does stick out to me is that in let's see, this would have been second grade. You were saying earlier that like everybody passes out the Valentines and whatever. So we had this thing. We had an even number of students in the class, so everybody was supposed to like go to the teacher and tell the teacher who they were going to give a Valentine to, and everybody had to be assigned in the classroom a Valentine. And when the day came, I didn't get one.
Dang, dude.
But wait. To make it even sadder, I didn't get one, and then my teacher gave me one. So I was like, and I remember she literally said, "I'll be your Valentine." And I was like,
no,
this seems wrong.
You're old.
Yeah. Like this seems not okay. She was like in her 60s. I'm like 8.
Yo,
I was like, that's not gonna happen.
I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, bro, like 8 years old.
When I was in the 3rd grade,
and
I thought that I was gay.
I don't know what it is, man, but you know, the Riz started macking on me early, bro.
Whoa.
And I remember
do that sometimes.
I remember, dude, I had this teacher from New Hampshire, and she was only like 23. You know, like a lot of these people, they get out of college and they start teaching. They're like barely out of school. And I'm 8 years old, dude. I was in love.
Oh, yeah.
I was in love. Yeah, I mean, come on.
I've been there.
You can't tell me you haven't had one like beautiful teacher
Oh.
in your whole life.
Oh, yeah. You remember Miss Warner?
I've heard of her, never had her.
Oh, she was like the same thing. Like she went to NC State. She graduated. She probably started teaching at like 22 or 23. And this would have been like 8th grade, I think. Yeah, like right at 8th grade. She was my homeroom teacher, and she was also my English teacher. I had the biggest crush on her, dude. And it just felt like weird. Because at the time I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be attracted to my teacher.
Yeah, this is illegal.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I feel like I'm doing something very wrong. And even before that year, do you remember Miss Olegario?
Again, name, never had her. I know the name, though.
Yep.
I definitely remember that name. Everyone was talking about her. Everybody was talking about her. I had Miss Witherow, but
Miss Witherow
from my homeroom. Yeah. And her husband, but
I had Mr. Witherow for social studies, and
I had both.
Me and him got into it all the time.
I loved him, dude.
I hated him.
Dude, do you remember?
despised him.
Do you remember at our school when every year for Valentine's Day, like at least in high school, we would do candygrams, like
yeah.
Valentine's Day, and they would.
I never got one.
Oh, me either.
Nope.
But here's the kick. For some reason, I always thought I would.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's.
Am I gonna get one?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. They start coming in and they're all dressed up and they got a handful of these like sweet little Valentines, and you're like, oh.
And there's like fake roses.
Yeah. Maybe somebody got me one.
Yeah.
Never once. Even when I had girlfriends. Oh, hey. I have a fun idea. We should all talk about our first relationships.
Well, that's kind of hard for me because I'm in it now.
Oh, yeah, okay, right. Yeah, that's
but
true.
I can still talk about it. We'll go around the.
Hey, wait a minute. I seem to remember it's not your first relationship.
Okay. I forgot about that. Do you want me to go into that?
Please tell the story.
Okay. There was this girl. I'm not going to say any names.
No names.
Okay.
No names.
There was this girl that I liked in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And
did she ride the bus with us?
No.
Right.
We were in like so many classes together. And, you know, it was really innocent, like 15, 16, you know, like just a kid, like having a crush on a girl and, you know, just talking in class and you know, all that. And we're talking and she's going through a couple guys in school. Some of them were my friends. like
going through them?
I don't mean like that. Just like having boyfriends and things like that, you know. And then, sometime around prom time, It got to the point, dude, this is funny. So I know I was 16 because I got my cell phone at 16. And that was back then when it was before smartphones were really widespread. And I had that one that slides open with the keyboard. Yeah.
It was one too.
Yeah. And like you had a limit of like 100 texts a month. You remember?
Yeah. You had to buy minutes.
Yeah, you had to buy minutes and like you don't have unlimited call time and you got to like ration out your text messages and your calls. And I get my first cell phone. She gets my number. My mom.
Whoa. Hold up. You got to explain the Riz like Alex did. How did you initiate that?
Well, it was just like we naturally just started talking and got along as friends, and we were in so many classes together. We would do homework, and I was oblivious, dude. I got another story too. I was so oblivious as a teenager. I had no clue when a girl liked me.
Oh yeah.
And like, dude, I'm going home and NASA scientists are there and I'm dealing with all this crazy shit. And then I'm going to school. Dude, it was like,
how do I girl?
I was not socially normal back then,
right,
you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just hanging out and like, she gets my number and my mom pulls me aside. She's like, who is so-and-so?
Yeah.
It's a friend at school. She's like, well, just got the Verizon bill and you're like 5,000 texts over the limit.
Oh.
She's texting me so much. And, nothing wrong with that. It's just back then it was structured different. So we had to count texts and we were talking all the time. So it builds up to this like huge crush. And we were talking for like months and months and months.
Oh, and listen, the whole time, like on a daily basis, Ryan is telling me all about this girl. It's like, man, I really like her, and all that. It's like super.
Dude, I was like really into this girl.
Oh yeah.
So I asked her out.
How'd you do it?
We were on the phone at like midnight, and we're like the 11th grade, but it's towards the end of the school year. We had a month. I know it was like May maybe when or it was right around prom time, which is like a month before school ended. So it was like it didn't really matter. We didn't care to stay up late because school's over anyway. We got the final exams, the EOGs and all that. So it's like whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
We're going to school and doing nothing all day and watching movies at that point. At our school, North Carolina has a crappy school system. So anyway, I asked her out and she's like, oh my gosh, yes. And then I go to school the next day. We hugged once in the hallway and then she dumped me.
Oh, wait. She dumped you at school?
Right after. Remember, I left school after rode the bus to your house.
This is important.
Yeah, we hugged in the hallway. We did, and in this semester we didn't have any classes together, so we saw each other once the whole day. You can't text in school, and I'm like, dude, yes, my first girlfriend. Actually, I have another story. I did have one other girlfriend.
Yes.
I did have one other girlfriend, and I really messed that one up. But
I love this.
I was such a troll, dude. And anyway,
was.
what I did was unhinged, honestly. But
it's the funniest thing ever.
Anyway, so she's like, I ride the bus to your house.
Yeah.
Because for those who don't remember, Nick and I rode the bus together for years, like 4 years, middle school through high school, and we literally lived like by the crow's eye. Or by the way the crow flies, which just means...
Is that a saying?
It's a southern term, yeah.
The crow's eye.
By the crow's eye?
Think about it, like a crow flying. It doesn't follow the roads and shit. It's just point A to point B. It's literally like a quarter of a mile to his house.
Yeah.
But, with the roads and turning down a street, I clocked it with my car. It's like 0.5 miles. So we were walking to each other's house all the time. And I get off the bus at his house. It's a Friday. We're getting in his pool. It's May, so like it's getting hot. We're like, yeah. I get to his house and she calls me on the phone and I'm like, hey, Nick, gotta go outside. My girlfriend's calling.
Okay, and important preamble. He comes into the house. We're like stoked. We're about to go outside in the backyard and swim. But before we go out there and do that, do you remember we had speakers around the pool?
Yes, and they were like rocks. And they were camouflaged.
It was hooked up to like a sound system from like the 1980s or early 90s that had only a disc player in it.
You had to walk into the shed and I remember.
So the first thing we did when we got off the bus,
I remember.
Ryan's like, yo, let's go swim. And I was like, okay, but first, let's burn a CD. Let's put like all of our favorite songs on it, burn a CD so we can chill outside and swim in the pool and listen to metal music.
So we had stacks of blank CDs to burn, and I'm holding there's a blank CD thing on the table. I walk outside, get the call, and she goes, hey, what's up? I'm like, what's up? Really happy. I'm like, I'm at Nick's house. We're gonna go hang out, get in the pool, whatever. And she goes, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you. I really just don't like titles.
Oh,
and
she hit you with that.
And like, I want to keep hanging out and like be your friend and like do all the things boyfriends and girlfriends do, but I just don't know if I like titles. And my dumbass, you know what I did? You know what I did? I said, oh, okay. Click. I walked inside. I grabbed one of the empty CDs and like I had a blank face.
Oh yeah, like nothing on his face. He didn't even say anything. He just walks inside, walks into the living room, sits next to me, grabs a blank CD like he's just twiddling with it or whatever. And I remember I was like, "You okay, man? What happened?" And you were like, "She dumped me." And I was like, "Oh man, are you okay?"
And then I said, I'm fine, and then crushed the CD. and exploded. And like, they're like, they got plastic in them. So like I said, I'm fine. And I crushed it and it exploded and went all over his house.
I mean, like,
dude, it exploded. And Nick starts laughing his ass off and it's not done. So then I start laughing and I'm like, and this is the honest truth. I said, you know what? I was going to dump her anyway. Because
wait, you were?
Yes, because that day at school, people started saying like, dude, why are you with her? And I was like, I don't know. Why am I? Dude, I was impressionable. So I was already planning it. And I was honestly, I was mad she dumped me first. So what did we do? Our dumbasses. So the next day he comes and stays at my house. And we made a video about her dumping me.
Oh my God, I forgot.
And we put it on YouTube and it spread around the school. It spread around the school and she found out, dude. And like people started approaching me, like demanding me to take it down. So I took it down and then I re-uploaded it with music on it.
Wait. Hold on. Which video was that?
That was the one with the little, like the wooden duck. Remember?
It was?
Yeah, and it spread around school.
Oh,
people would come up they would approach us in the hallways and quote the video. They thought it was hysterical.
That is okay. Hang on. If you think about that in retrospect, that's like what we're doing now. Yeah. Like we're like talking on camera, making skit videos and like whatever. But we made a few of those.
Oh yeah, and people loved them. I mean, like a few hundred. This was before YouTube was huge. Yeah. Before all this craze of the internet.
This must have been 2009, 2000
at the latest.
8, maybe.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah, and we were. Oh my God! But I'll never in my whole life, as long as I live, I will never forget that moment. I mean it was the most natural comedic timing, bro. Because for everything in the exchange, from the "Are you okay, dude?" to the "She dumped me" to
the CD exploding all over his house.
I'm fine. And then, it sounded like a shotgun blast. Like if you can imagine a plastic CD just shattering into a million pieces. And the best part is, we both immediately erupted in laughter.
Yeah.
And from that moment forward, you were like, it's fine. Like, it's all good. Whatever.
It ended up devastating this girl because a video that all the people in the know of the video and knowing who I was, like, knew the context. And I honestly felt really bad about it. I never said her name in it.
Hang on. Okay. Let's try our hardest to recall the plot of that video.
Dude, it's so cringe. I remember it
It's vividly. The most cringe.
I remember it vividly, dude. Because,
walk me through it, please.
Dude, it's so bad. I mean, keep in mind, this was a different era of humanity. This was like when South Park was making episodes because there were like 5 viral videos on the internet.
Right, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes, absolutely.
And we thought we were so fucking funny. We're like 15 and 16 and so abstract, so stupid. I had this wooden duck in my room, remember?
We're about to bare our souls to you guys. This is cringe.
Oh, it's cringe. I'm so glad it got deleted.
I want to see it.
I was just like, hey, dude, how funny would it be if you were like like a genie. And
wait, I don't even remember that.
you're like a genie, and the camera's like from your perspective, but like we do a little like editing trick and make this appear. Remember? And it was really just like pressing pause, staying still, and then pressing play. And it's in my
the
hand.
duck appeared.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, ask me like what's wrong, and I'm gonna talk about how blah blah blah. So then the video was like the perspective is from Nick, and he's holding the camera, and he's panning around the room, in my bedroom, and he sees me, and I'm hunched in the corner like depressed, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I looked up and I said, "I got dumped today."
Right.
And he goes, well, man, that sucks. Like, how long were you together? And I said, 1. And he goes, 1 what, a year? No.
A month?
A month? No. A week? No. 1 day.
And then what happened after that?
And you're like, shoot, man, I'm sorry. You said, I know what to cheer you up.
Oh, yes.
And you take the camera and you point it around the room, and you see the wooden duck in my room, and you said, how about a duck? Yeah. And then you put your hand in the camera view, which is so stupid. And like snap your fingers, and then we press pause and press play, and the wooden duck's in my hand. And dude, that shit spread around the school.
You guys have no clue how many people we had come up to us and say, how about a duck?
Yeah, how about a duck?
So many people.
Dude, it was hilarious. The video is not funny.
No, it's not.
But to the hormonal 15-year-old kids, dude, this was totally a different time. But
and to give a little bit of background lore, we also made a video around the same time that we titled "The Spirit of Hardcore."
Oh yeah,
and like that just goes to show, man, we've always been about this metal shit. But bro, that CD story, I'll never forget it. I'll never be able to get that out of my mind.
So my first ever crush. This is my last one. My first ever crush in my life, I formed when I was 9 years old. Like real crush. Yeah. You know, like actually liking a girl like my age, not on TV, not, some attractive adult that you see as a child. Like, technically my first crush was the Pink Power Ranger.
Yeah.
That shit came out the year I was born, and I've been watching Power Rangers ever since, I was an infant. And I was obsessed with the Pink Power Ranger.
Everybody's like, I like the Red Ranger. I like the blue. You're like,
oh, dude,
I
no.
like the
and
pink
she's
one.
bad, dude. She is bad.
Oh, 100%.
Like, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, so my first real crush was, I'll just say the first name. Her name was Kathy. And I was 9 years old in the 4th grade, and she had 6 brothers, and she liked Dragon Ball Z.
Hey.
I had been loving Dragon Ball Z at that point since I was 3 years old, which is 6 years, just like, dude, like, this is cool. And I had a crush on this girl all the way up until the 7th grade when I was 12, and I finally had the courage to ask her out. And I'm talking like I didn't like any other girls.
Right.
Like, this was a very real crush, you know? And I was like, we got along. We always were like friends in school, and like there was no indication. She liked me too. And I did forget to say she was a Jehovah's Witness.
Whoa, okay.
So like strict religious family.
She can't even celebrate Valentine's Day.
That's what I'm saying, or Christmas, or none of it. And anyway, so I get the courage at 12 to finally ask out my first girlfriend. And at this point, we don't have any classes together. We only just remembered each other from elementary school. I had a friend of hers who was in my class, who was her best friend, who was passing my notes to her to ask her out for me. She was like my messenger. So
that's how you did it back in the day.
You had to.
By the way,
cell phones weren't even really around.
But
back then.
Not even that. Like you would just get your friend. You would write a note for a girl, and you would get your friend to give the girl the note.
Oh, especially
That's how it went
for sure. Especially with girls.
I got shut down many a time that way.
So I get her a note asking her out, and I used to even have dreams about asking this girl out all the way back then, and it was always a yes. And anyway, so she says yes. So that was truly my first girlfriend, if we want to say that. So here's what I did. And what I did will shock you.
Oh, God.
One night, I'm watching MTV with my brother Jeremy. Chris Jr. was a little older at this point. He was probably like 16, so he had his own room. He liked his own space. I'm like 12, so we didn't really hang out at this time. Me and Jeremy are watching like Andy Milonakis.
Oh, yeah.
Or some weird ass. I mean, we were watching some weird shit back then on MTV. So what did I do? I hand drew her a picture of SpongeBob smoking weed with red eyes.
Hang on.
And I delivered it to her, and she never talked to me again.
Wait. I've never heard this story, Ryan.
It's been in the vault.
What? You drew a weed SpongeBob?
Yeah, and his eyes were all like red and like dilated.
Okay, man.
She
Dude,
broke up with me and never talked to me again.
I think college courses could be taught about that exchange. Like, what were your intentions?
Dude, I was 12. I don't know anything.
You probably didn't even know what weed was, dude.
Not really. Oh, it was you just saw those shirts back then. Remember, like Bugs Bunny, like with grills and shit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Oh my god, dude, I can't breathe.
I used to watch Scary Movie, and they were smoking weed in it. And I thought it was funny. And Scary Movie too, you know, Shorty. I had that on DVD, and I was watching that all the time, and I thought it was so funny.
Okay, Alex, take notes because that is the Riz.
That's Riz, bro.
That's Riz right there. drawing your crush a weed SpongeBob. That's Riz, bro. That's Riz for real. You got an interesting juicy story, Alex?
Man, dude, I can't even remember who the first one was.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember who my first one was. My first girlfriend was in the 2nd grade.
Nice.
And we dated. Obviously, you're in 2nd grade. It's not, but the whole year. And then she dumped me at the end of the year. I was devastated.
Damn.
I remember that whole summer. I cried a lot. I was like, I remember, dude, this is weird. I remember being in 2nd grade, which you're like 7 or something. And I remember thinking like, my whole life is over. I'll never, a 7-year-old.
That was my last chance.
Exactly. I have no time left. Like that was it. That was my one shot, and I'll never get another one.
And I remember you used to have a new girlfriend like every month back then. Back in like high school, middle school, you were just turning and burning.
No, come on,
turning and burning.
Come on, that's not true. I had.
That was me.
Let's see. In 6th grade was my first like what I would consider real girlfriend. Like we actually went to the movies and like we kissed, and that was my first kiss. And like we met in forensics.
Nice.
Do you remember what forensics was? Forensics was like this. I don't even know why it's called forensics, but it was like an after-school club where you do like monologues. You do like little mini plays.
Oh yeah.
I was in forensics for 2 years, and I met. It's funny because on the same day, I met my first girlfriend and who would eventually become my second girlfriend. And so me and my first girlfriend dated for like a year and a half, and it was like your typical like middle school whatever thing. But the whole time I feel really bad about it now because the whole time I literally started dating that girl that day. It was the first day of school, and I got my first kiss. She went and got onto the bus, and then I went to my first day of forensics and met the girl that would become my second girlfriend. And so for like a year and a half straight, I had this girlfriend, but then I had this huge crush on this girl in forensics. So it was just like, that's to a kid in 6th grade, you're creating a real crisis.
It's the Wild West.
Oh, because I'm like, I don't know how to navigate this. Like, I do not know. And anyway, the first girl ended up dumping me. And then I literally think the same day I started dating the other girl.
I mean, that's what I would have done, man.
Yeah, that's how.
It's like what they say when you lose a pet, bro. It's like the only way to get over. Or no. It's relationships. It's relationships.
Oh my god.
No, it's not about pets. I was confused there. It's about relationships. They say the only way to get over one is to get under another.
Yeah, and the reality of that is that's not good.
I really don't believe that.
That's hilarious.
So let's see. I had a girlfriend in kindergarten and like elementary school.
He started early.
Yeah, then I went to public middle school, and like, just because I was new, it was like all these girls, and then but I would never do anything I didn't kiss any of them, like we didn't hang out. It's just weird.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah.
Were you always into older women?
I mean, I've never had an older girlfriend.
Right.
Well. Right. I don't care. There's this one. It feels like a fever dream now. this one older girl. I don't even remember her name. It was
Wow.
weird. I don't want to talk about it.
Alex is into older women because they are into him.
I just love attention.
Yeah,
But I do want to tell this story. It's about Olivia.
Oh, okay.
And it was about a couple weeks before. So this was the time. This was after Valentine's because we started hanging out and I brought her the donuts and we would go hang out. This is after Valentine's, but before she said yes to dating me. Dude, I was just like such a wimp, man. And we were sitting and watching, I forget the movie. We watched 2 movies, bro. We're sitting there watching movies for like 4 or 5 hours.
True Grit.
No, it was some girl. I honestly, it may have been Great Gatsby. I don't remember a single thing about it. And we're sitting there like holding hands on the couch, right? And I'm just like sweating, like oh my god,
Yeah.
And we stand up because it's time for me to leave. Like my ride's here, man, and I'm like freezing up. And dude, she reached in and kissed me.
Damn!
And I was like,
Yo.
we were standing up. Bro, I almost fell down the stairs. I'm serious. I'm going down the stairs so lightheaded. I'm like, I'm hitting the walls, man. I'm like, oh my God.
It's like a drug.
And then I got in the car. It was Ian and Ian's brother.
Oh.
Shout out Ian. Never
Shout out
him
Ian, dude. I love Ian.
Yeah.
Dude, and his older brother, man, he would take me to all my dates.
Ian has a brother?
Older brother.
I didn't know that.
He was the only one with a car, dude. He
What?
would take me to all my dates when we would go hang out, man. True dude
I
right
was-
there. Shout out Garrett.
I was never able to initiate a first kiss until Casey. Casey was my first kiss that I actually initiated. Funniest thing is, my second girlfriend ever, which was the one in like like 7th and 8th grade, we didn't kiss for 9 months.
That was the doom of it. that was what killed it. There was no veneration of fertility.
Oh my God. Yeah, we weren't doing the proper rituals. If we had made some
You
sacrifices.
see, you need some tendons and you
Right.
tied
Yeah. What you do is you take 2 male goats. Yeah, no, I didn't do any of that. No, I never. And the funniest thing is, for 9 months straight, I kept being like, trust me, baby, I'm going to do it one of these days.
Yes, he said that?
Yes.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
That's more comical than
Hold
High
up,
SpongeBob.
hold up. I got you. This is
The
gonna.
Riz over text was there, but the in person.
No, it was all on the phone, dude. It was on the phone again. No cell phones, only landline. So how about this? My mom. My mom.
Dude, your mom's an angel.
She is.
She can't be exposed to this madness.
Let me tell you something. I'm not gonna go into detail here. Ryan. But my mom, she overheard some pretty embarrassing conversations once or twice. Oh, man. And
Does it start with a B and rhyme with eat it up?
yo, you're evil, bro. You're evil. You're a demon. Yeah, that is yeah, we're not gonna hang out on that one. We're just gonna breeze right
Dude,
past that
is
one.
so embarrassing.
But how about that? Yeah, so this is embarrassing too. I love just like bearing all of my embarrassing stories. It's so funny for me. So yeah, I talked up this big game for months to this girl. Like,
Tomorrow's the day, baby.
Yes,
Put
yes.
on lip gloss.
So I think that was in the conversation. It's so funny because the whole time we are a forensics duo. We are literally doing a play together. We're practicing it every day after
dangerous.
school. Very dangerous. And for so many months, this was built up. I swear I'm going to do it, blah, 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 blah. And finally, she was like, when is this going to happen? And like, she was making a big deal about it. So I was like, all right, Friday at the end of the day, when we see each other before we leave, I'm going to do it. I promise. Whatever. Bro. Friday comes. My heart is beating out of my chest, bro. I'm panicking. I'm like, how do I do this? This is the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Dude, we get there. We're under the archway where like the buses are. And we hug. And then we just stand there and stare at each other for like 10 seconds straight. And I remember vividly.
Oh my God.
I remember vividly me looking at her and just doing one of these, like, just like nodding. And like, I'm like, and then she just walked away.
Bro, have you seen Married at First Sight?
No.
That's like that show where like people who
That show's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. It's like people who've like not really had boyfriends or girlfriends, or they're super religious or awkward or whatever, and they get like matched with a partner and they meet at their wedding. And dude, that's the vibe. That the kisses dude. It's
no, that sounds cringe.
yeah,
bro.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, that was I've definitely had a few embarrassing cringe. Look, you got to learn one way or another, and I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I learned how to navigate relationships the hard way by just constantly embarrassing myself and just shaming, just completely accepting the shame, bro.
I will say before we go, dude, like the first time I ever saw Jenny, so flash forward, and like Emily and Jennifer, and then our friend Randy, shout out Randy.
Shout out Randy.
I had never met them yet. And my mom calls me and she's like, go pick up your sister and her friends from the movie theater. And I'm like, no, I was playing Halo. And she's like, go pick up, you got to do it. You have no choice. So I go and I pick them up. And I'd never even heard of these friends, whatever. And when they walked out of the movie theater and I saw Jenny, it was like a lightning bolt struck me. And I was obsessed. And a week later, I was telling my sister, my mom, my grandma, I was like, I'm going to marry that girl.
A week later?
A week later.
You knew it.
I said, I'm going to marry that girl. There's something about her.
You did it.
And a year later, we were together. And then here we are. We've been married, almost 2 years.
Oh, sweet, sweet story to wrap up the Valentine's episode. We love that for you. You guys are the best. You got the cutest little relationship.
Blessed.
Bless up, y'all. All right, we out of here. We hope you enjoyed our fun little Valentine's thing.
Oh, yeah. By the way, the heart, actually, when you look at the symbol of it, it's probably female genitalia. You ready to hit them with the bye, guys?
Yes.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Peace.